Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. All right, so we are going to be checking out the Warhammer reveals from Nova Open 2022. It is supposed to be Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Horus Heresy, and Warhammer Underworlds. And just for one more sake, Warhammer. Let's just start saying Warhammer all the time. So, today, right now, if you're watching this after the fact, there's still about 6 minutes till the previews and trailers and all that goodness starts. So if you want to skip ahead, feel free. Otherwise, I am just going to be just sitting here, just talking, staring at the screen. And yeah, I don't know what is going on over on the preview right now. Let's have a look. Oh, they're asking questions. What is the name of the fourth circle of Archeon's Varangard? Varangard? Reaver of Chaos? That's news to me. I'm way behind on my Age of Sigmar lore and everything that's, gone on in Age of Sigmar. How many different Marneus Calgar models have been produced? 4? I want to say 4, maybe 5. I think 4 though. Maybe 5. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say 4. The original, then there was 2 during 2nd and 3rd editions, and I think 4th edition had one, and then the latest iteration of them, right? 4? Sure, we'll say 4. I'm going to say 4. Which is it? My money's on 4. I got money on 4. Come on. Come on. It's not going to give me the answer, is it? Is the feed froze? 3? What? No, there's 4. Oh, it's simply known as the Imperial Command. Oh, see, I was counting him as Marneus Calgar. Oh, it's a trick question. See, I was counting the original one where the commander is sitting in the chair and he's got his 2 power gauntlets. They got me. They got me. They got me. I was jebaited, as the kids would say. B? Well, yeah, you said that after the fact now, Fire Drake. Can't say it after the fact, for God's sakes. Oh, I know the answer after it's already been popped up on the screen for like 5 hours. Which Necromundant house's close association of the infamous rogue doc Shiv? Escher. No, Delac. I have no idea. The infamous rogue doc Shiv. I kind of want to say it's Escher. I'm going to go B. B. It's my final answer. Oh, Fire Drake with the B again, eh? Oh, you know it all, apparently. Just too damn clever for your own good, I suppose, right? Do we have any music for this? Like, oh, I got it on mute. Oops. A, it's House Goliath. House Goliath. It's House Goliath. Kind of Necromunda player am I? Didn't even know that. Pfft. That's some weak tea, eh? Some weak tea. All these model bits everywhere. Jeez Louise. And B is the place to be, apparently. If this was the SATs, we failed, bud. We're both gonna go to trade school. You know, when I was a kid, that was the you made fun of the kids that went to trade schools, right? And now, like, those professions are, highly sought after, and yeah, I'm going to turn this music down just a little bit. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Which Imperial Night House had their entire homeworld abducted by Be'lakor and turned into a shadow planet of Korvosi. Korvosi? I'm going to say House Raven. Hawkshroud. No, Raven. D. We're going to vote D. We're voting for the D. These questions are rigged. Yeah, Fire Drake? Maybe. Possibly. They might be rigged. House Raven. I'm saying House Raven. Come on. Where's the answer? Give me the answer. D. Haha, I got it right. Formerly known as the Colossi, the world disappeared during the Caradon War and is now home to the Chaos Knight House Korvax. There we go. See, I knew that. I'm up on 40k. I know all about the Warhammers. This is, you know, for anybody who's not familiar with this channel and the silliness that I do, I'm all about the Warhammers. All about it. I'm well steeped in the Warhammers. Fire Trick, you guessed B. Yeah, you guessed wrong. Mama's wrong again. Okay, we're going to get into this presentation now or what? Or we're going to go for a full 10 questions. We're going for a full 10. Which Xenos faction came to the unexpected aid of the Tau Empire during the conflict with the Tyranids of Hive Fleet Hydra? I'm going to say Harlequins. Harlequins. They came to the aid. Necrons wouldn't come to the aid. Drukhari, they'd probably steal all the Tau. And Orcs, not likely. Fire Drake, you can't Google the answer, Kris. It's bad form. I'm not Googling the answer. I'm sitting here Googling myself. I type my name into Google all the time. You're saying C? Oh, Sophie says B. Fire Drake says C. I figured Fire Drake would go B. No, I'm going B. Yeah, Harlequins. I'm saying it's Harlequins. It's the Harlequin. It sounds like a Harlequin. Oh, fuck, it's Drukhari. No, fuck that up. Rakarth provided legions of brutal abominations in exchange for Tau cultural delegations. Strangely, later deliveries of troops had a blue tint to their skin. Ooh. Oh, Urian used up some of them Tau to flush out his ranks, apparently. I have the Tau Codex. I haven't read it. Sophie, Oh, here we go. All right, boys are starting. The boys are starting.
Warhammer Preview Online, Nova Open Edition. My name is Adam Troke. I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Eddie Eccles. We are delighted to have you with us today. Eddie, what is Nova Open?
It's got to be late for these boys, no?
Thanks, Adam.
1 in the morning for you guys?
We're super excited about all the Warhammer.
Ghost of Starman. Hey, Kris.
The Nova Open.
Hype to see some World Eater stuff again. Yeah, I think so.
Right now,
the preview email they went out.
And about a few hundred people in a room in the Nova Open have just sat down and enjoyed a preview of some cool upcoming Warhammer stuff.
Awesome.
They got a chance to see it first because they were at the event, and we like to support local independent events, which is cool.
See my face.
But obviously, we want to share all the cool news with everybody around the world as well. So we're going to tell you all the stuff that they've just seen.
Put myself
now.
right there, right in the middle.
There's some doozies.
Yeah, it's really exciting actually to be able to sort of do this simultaneously with the event which Games Workshop Warhammer sort of supports sort of wholeheartedly. It's been a couple of years since the
Warhammer
last
support
Nova because of the
so
whole pandemic.
Do they rewrite the lore for that question? Yeah,
lovely
exactly.
For that to be kicking off. We've got the events team there in full force, and Pete Foley, sort of head of the Warhammer Book and Box Game Studio, has been part of that presentation, and we get to bring you all that same information live, direct to wherever you are watching through the internet right now.
Yeah, it's a nice time for Warhammer events again. We're starting to see a few of them pop up again, which maybe people haven't had a chance.
I don't know
who's that.
Who's that?
Nova. Some Warhammer events
Nova.
recently.
I've been getting in amongst it with some strategy battle game. Yeah, absolutely. Playing with the Iron Hills Dwarfs.
Nova actually is one of the
Ghost
bigger.
Props to Adam and Eddie because it looks like they're in the usual studio. And it's 1 a.m. here in the UK. Yeah, no kidding.
Really cool
Sophie, I'm expecting more Chaos and Age of Sigmar stuff for the releases.
Absolutely. Every
I think so.
Feels
like it's the year of Chaos, apparently, right? Because we had Chaos Demons, we had Chaos Space Marines.
The event organisers put a lot of effort into making.
Was there a Chaos release for Age of Sigmar?
A real occasion. So when I played there a few years back, I battled through like the ruins of Minas Tirith, and I battled through sort of a raging river across log bridges and all sorts of things. It was really good.
Yeah. So if you do get a chance at some point to go to an event like the Nova Open or the Nova Open itself, it's well worth going along, especially.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Nova this year.
Yeah,
just couldn't swing her. Just couldn't swing her.
Nick Eric says drink every time they say bespoke, so I'm going to make a bespoke comment just for you about the bespoke nature of my comments.
It's a drinking game.
Right. So
I got my blue juice.
Why are we here and what are we doing? Well, over the course of about the next hour or so, Eddie and I are going to bring you some amazing previews from across the worlds of Warhammer. We've got some Warhammer 40,000 stuff. We've got some Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We've got some Warhammer Underworlds, and we've got some Horus Heresy.
We do. It's told true.
So
what can they preview for Horus Heresy?
Before we get into that, I want to do the thing I always do. I've seen somebody already shout it out, but I want to know where you are tuning in from to join us in this live stream today. It's a different time. Normally it's in our daytime, but it's the middle of the night. I snuck out of a house full of sleeping trokes to come and talk Warhammer with all you lot.
Good work to anyone who's currently joining us from the UK or Europe, because we are in the small hours.
There is a lot.
Kim, there he is.
A block cap Scotland.
They always fuck around a lot before the actual showing stuff. Yeah, well, exactly, right? Which is why I invite you guys to hang out with me, because at least we can talk stuff.
Kansas, Belgium,
make fun of whatever's going on with these two.
Someone there I can see
2 a.m. in Norway. Well done. Thanks for
2 a.m. for you, Kim.
Some people there I see from Washington DC. So I'm wondering why you're not at the Nova Open right
now.
Yeah,
who's in Washington?
Having been to Nova, it's one heck of an event. I'd be hard pressed not to have gone.
Maybe
anywhere in the
Maybe they are at Nova and they saw the preview once and they were like, "That was so much fun."
What I'd like is Eddie's takes on all of that stuff.
Switching screens when these assholes are on an ad.
Serbia, Bath.
Ghost Starman switching over from Twitch. Didn't realize you were on YouTube for this too. Yeah,
could be in Bath bathing.
I love it. I do it because I don't really feel like
it does my heart enormous good to see all these
changing my info for when I do Way the Brush and what have you. So it's just basically just change titles and stuff.
So thank you for spend a little bit of your time.
It's work smarter, not harder, right?
I think also big shout out to anybody who's upside down in Australia land or New Zealand or anywhere in that sort of time.
What time is it for Australians?
Because you get to do this
early morning,
most civilized hour imaginable, right? This is
over breakfast. Yeah.
So enjoy your breakfast. I hope you have a nice one. Eddie, before we go much further, have you done much Warhammer hobby lately?
So I've been doing a little bit of Age of Sigmar. I got a couple of games in since we last had a preview. So I've got my Cruel Boys with Kragnos and
Marco. It's 10 a.m. Oh, it's 10 a.m. in Australia. 10:05.
Played against
Smythe,
yeah. So we had some fun rooting.
Is it Smythe or Smith?
Trees. That was exciting.
Either way.
I've still been
10 a.m.
Okay,
that's very reasonable for you guys.
But they are very, very detailed.
Very
reasonable.
It's
taken me a little bit of time.
It's Thursday in Australia already. Whoa, you're in the future?
So hopefully I'll get them painted up in time for that. Or
what's the lotto numbers for today?
I have an event a week on Saturday. I'm going to. This will be like the third or fourth one in.
Sorry, I'm late. Wow.
A few months.
Like late or just late?
Middle Earth Teams event.
Like when they say, I'm late.
And I'm rolling out the Iron Hills Dwarfs for the third time in a row.
That's when you start having to make an arrangement.
It's a bigger points value, so I need to paint more. So I'm looking to do some kit bashes and conversions for some new heroes for the Force.
Marco, very comfy time enjoying it with some brekkie. Yeah. What is a typical
Iron Hills
Australian breakfast?
I'm going to see how that goes, and I need to do some more crossbow.
And if you say Vegemite, I swear to God.
So if you're playing against me, go easy because my arm is going to be small. A lot of heroes, not many models.
Smith, as it should be.
Got it right the first one. Smythe, which is very unexpected.
If you're doing
today's lotto is 69420. Trust me. Yeah, 69420.
So far, Dingwood says can confirm Australia is on second breakfast.
Chris, late to shoot. Yeah, no problem.
So
I'm just hanging. We're just checking it out.
Yes, right.
Smythe. So, I literally just had toast with Vegemite. You can fight me.
Word bearers. Someone says.
Okay, so here's a quick question. Not even hobby related.
My third Leviathan Dreadnought.
I saw a video. Apparently in Australia,
Dreadnoughts now than it was a few months ago.
It's taboo to call somebody or address somebody as bud or buddy.
4-year-old resin.
Is that true? You don't say bud or buddy to a person in Australia?
Plastic one as well. And I think I should do them
he's
side
not getting
by
painted,
side.
is he?
Well, he's gonna.
So Vegemite and Marmite.
The Dark Angel will be one.
Marmite are horrible. I don't know if I've had Marmite.
Yeah. So I've just got a feeling that it might be Leviathan-tastic, but I've got to get through. I built the squad of.
It sounds like something Space Marines put on their armor.
It's
like ceramite.
Yeah, I've got some resin contemptors in a box.
Shit, that seems like a missed opportunity right there. Where's the Warhammer?
I've already got 3. I don't I don't know why.
Merchandise people.
I think I got really excited.
Marmite, but call it ceramite.
Came out in resin for the first time, so
there we go.
Again, I might try and mix
or
them
Vegemite, one of the two.
Make a little a whole squad of contemptors.
I've tried
I
Vegemite.
totally,
It's not.
I understand and
it's
agree.
not.
We got.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Nice.
It's an acquired taste, anyway.
I've got that model built on my desk. I just don't have enough time in my
Hiroke, Kris.
Got 2 bronze to finish painting.
Marco, just uncommon. Never heard
before
anyone say
that's nice.
buddy
I like
or
that idea
bud.
a lot.
Really? Yeah, because that's what I'd seen a video. It was like on TikTok, I think.
And
it was like talking about taboos in Australia and things you don't say to people, like these social conventions, right? Because like Canadians and Americans going over to Australia or the UK. And, you know what I mean? Like these other English-speaking countries.
Yes, indeed.
And yeah, in Canada and North America, northern United States.
We're about 9 minutes past.
Bud and buddy are
just
quite common to refer to. Hey, bud, got a smoke? That kind of thing.
Steadily climb in this here
Warhammers
preview right now. There's more than 40.
Boys, you're killing me. Let's go.
To watch this Warhammer preview. So thank you for choosing to spend some time for about the next 15
Don't say
minutes
champ
or so.
in Australia as well. Really, don't say champ.
A whole bunch of Warhammer stuff.
Because I've heard that one as well.
40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Underworlds, and the Horus Heresy.
So paint a marine, black armor, yellow helmet, and right Marmite on his chest plate.
Is there anything I've missed?
That all sounds like Heresy to me. So
we're very excited.
That sounds like Heresy. That sounds like somebody looking to pick a fight.
We know what they're painting. We've introduced us.
And the Australians are having breakfast.
That's important.
Oh, what a time to be alive.
Kris,
right,
I knew you what you meant.
You've
been around long enough that
the man behind
I knew there was an autocorrect there somewhere.
The first video.
Unless you were talking to the other Kris. Nope, here we go. What do we got? Some Warhammers. The Kinho strike into the galaxy. Sithonian Berserks. Or Bezerks. Bezerks? Oh, yeah. Sagittar. Sweet. Ironher Champion. Hearthguard. Iron Master. Look at this guy. Oh, look at this guy. We haven't seen this guy before. Always seen these bikes. Grimnir. Looks like a sorcerer. Wow. Thunderkin. Hearthkin Warriors. Hecaton Land Fort. Look at this thing. Oh! Uthar the Destined. Huge. New box. The army set. Nice. With a new codex. What new codex? Oh, the Leagues of Votan. Right. September, peoples. Septembers.
A lot of Leagues of Votan. That was one heck of a reveal. Where do we even start?
So this is.
I want to know more about that big honking vehicle.
So we've seen a smattering of miniatures throughout the last kind of few months since April the 2nd, I think it was.
Oh man.
Good times.
Exciting.
But this is everything now. So with this video, we've now seen absolutely everything that's coming for the release of the Leagues of Votan, which are the new army for Warhammer 40,000. And as well as announcing the new miniatures, which we'll take a closer look at in a little bit, we can also tell you about the army launch set for the Leagues of Votan, which is the first place you'll be able to pick up the new miniatures, and also the first place you'll be able to get your hands on the new codex early. So this is a little bit like what we had for Black Templars and for the Beast Snagger Orcs when they released.
Yeah, the Beast Snagger, and also
this is
the
your first chance to kind of
Chaos Knight.
You really want to be on the
was
ground
all in
floor
one box. It had its cards, the codex, and the knights.
Fleet. This is the box for you, and you can start your.
Oh, this is very exciting.
There's plenty of new stuff in there, including this guy.
This is the Einhir champion.
Einhir? I've been saying that wrong all this time.
Close combat.
Not surprising. I've been saying it wrong, but
character model for the Leagues of Votan army.
I love
and
the
he's an
hammer.
Absolute wrecking machine, as you can clearly see.
Yeah, so he's
The axe is
literally
cool.
a battering ram. So if you look at the detail on this guy, he's got the kind of...
He's got
that
bolters
kind
in his fist.
Almost Nordic iconography of a ram at the top of him.
He's got a
and
fist
he's got
bolter thing.
these huge power packs on his back, which are mass drivers, which basically catapult him across the battlefield. So he can literally run into units, buildings, vehicles, and just send them flying. He's just
to start, man, my frickin'
absolute,
Wi-Fi died. Oh no!
Wrecking ball of destruction. He's got some options that come with the kit, so you can either kit him out with that enormous hammer, and as you can imagine, great big power hammers are pretty solid for any army, but the Leagues of Votan have got
they're tiny
kits,
space wolves.
so
yeah,
that's
well,
gonna hit
yeah,
even
it's a similar
harder than
vibe, right?
like
They
an
have
Imperial
that
equivalent from the hammer. You can
that
also kit him out with an axe,
Celtic
which is
and,
made of basically
Nordic
antimatter
kind of
and can
thing
cut
going
through
on.
almost
The
anything.
runes
so
and everything like that. Like, you know,
way
they got
of
to still
getting
tie it into the
through,
dwarves, right? They got to still
wounding pretty much
kind of give them
anything
that
in 40K.
aesthetic.
So you've got a few options there, and it gives you like a powerhouse combat character to just catapult into the enemy lines.
Yeah, I think...
I want to see the sorcerer dude again.
Shout out for his weaponry.
And the big tank.
I've been really enjoying watching...
It didn't really quite look like a tank, though. It looked more like a big APC carrier or something.
Sort of the technology that's underpinning the Votan as a faction. And his sort of weapon concealed inside his gauntlet is...
Yeah, he's got bolters in his gauntlet. He's
got
got two barrel. He's got like a combi double storm bolter thing in his fist. That's freaking cool, man.
Humanity for a very long time, and like spit straight death. But the
hammer he looks cool. Absolute unit of a character. Yeah, Marco. Yeah. I concur.
Yeah, so both of his combat weapons, basically, he's got the best coast combat weapons in the whole book. And effectively, if you think of that kind of like dwarven archetype almost, these are your relic weapons. These are the ones that like a master craftsman has kind of forged out of the rarest, most powerful minerals and ores and heaviest metals and arcane technologies. So these are like the best of the best weapons. The miniature itself.
So
is
they're
really
sticking
cool.
with,
So
you know,
as Votan, as the Leagues of Votan.
The Leagues of
warriors
Votan are like dwarves,
they get
where
more
they're
and
all
more of
about
that kind
mining
of,
and
iconography, that kind of gold
stuff
filigree
like
work
that.
on them. So they become more ornate, as you'd imagine, as they become.
Fire Drake. I was
higher
promised
ranked, and it's got, like, nice touches.
Voltan
If you want to,
battle
you can
report.
make this quite a painter's piece as well. It could be quite impressive looking miniature.
There's a battle report on
wanted
Warhammer
to show off
Plus.
your painting skills.
I watched it earlier today. It had the
you
Leagues of
can, couple
Votan.
of questions about options. The kit has two head options. They're both bared heads, not to be confused with bare
Smythe.
heads.
I wonder if these will have helmeted
then,
heads, or if
he
we'll
obviously has
see
the mass hammer or the dark
they have the
star
scouts
axe,
for those kits
as well. And,
Don't know. No train.
Yeah,
Not
very
yet.
Excited. But he is by no means alone.
Well, and he said that this is we're getting
very,
all
very
of the
exciting
league stuff,
Uthar
right?
the
This
Destined, who
is
a
everything we're
special
going to see
character
for the
amongst
leagues.
The Leagues of Votan, right?
That's right. So he's the only named
cool.
character in
He's
the
the
codex
character.
when it drops. But he is the destined, which means that there's like a prophecy basically about him that he's going to do great things for the Leagues of Votan. The model is based on the same core miniature that the Carl that we've seen already is based on, but there's more kind of ornate. So he's got that double-headed bear
I like that
backpack
crest thing on the
iconography,
back.
the idea of like Uthar, Ursa sort of idea. He's like the bear almost. He's got a plasma blade, which is like a better power weapon, basically. So like
Their technology is like top notch.
yeah, the Imperium wish they had swords that good. In game terms, he is an incredibly powerful force multiplier, basically. So you can put him at the center of your army, and he gives rerolls and bonuses and all sorts of extra abilities. So this is like a linchpin model that you can build your force around. But you don't have to take him if you don't want to. You can take this model and you can build him as a standard Carl designed to be.
So you get, because it's the same
hero
body.
you
It's just
create of
different
your own
head,
creation
different
sort of thing,
crest.
and you've got quite a lot of options in that kit as well for both aesthetically in terms of how it looks.
That's cool.
Bare head, helmeted head, different kind of creatures that you can have on the back, different weapons. So you can. It's a flexible kit, but one of the things you can make with it is that special character.
Yeah, absolutely. And here you can see like the difference. Again, you've got the
Fire
the
Drake. I like
plasma
how they're
sword,
making them
plasma
taller.
axe, you've got the,
Yeah, they just
vulcanized
throw them on some
disintegrator
rocks
or the
because
Warsaw pattern combo
these guys are probably
So
going to be
there's
small,
nice
right?
flexibility.
They're dwarves. I mean,
and,
like they can't be that
whether or not
big.
you want, to use
The bases
different
make them
character or
look
create
like
your
these are
own
like some big
Carl
models,
to
but
lead
these are
your,
probably not very
army
big
battle.
models.
This is the guy for you, and as somebody's pointed out, yes, double tactical rock because, quite frankly, he needs the height advantage.
Yeah. Also, I think part of it as well is to make sure he looks cool when he's facing off against.
Smythe, I want to see them next to a
cool characters,
Primaris
right?
Marine.
So if you have this
Yeah,
against
yeah.
a Space Marine captain,
I
you don't
thought
want
somebody
them
did show them
to be too short because
with
your
Primaris.
battle won't look as dramatic as
because it looks like they're all on 30 mil bases.
One of the nice things about that rock is it
And
kind
so
of
they're,
nods
you
to
know,
the kind of mining
equating how
origin
big they
of
are
the
in
Leagues of
comparison
Votan.
to
So you can imagine
Primaris,
that's like a
something
rocky
like that.
asteroid that's full of minerals and ore and stuff. So a little bit of the story of the army is sprinkled throughout the base.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like the character, dude. He's cool.
This shot here that you can see is everything that comes within that army set.
Okay, so this is an army in a box.
In the video that we just watched.
With the codex.
And it's a pretty mighty collection. So you've got Uthal the Destined that we just talked about, and the Einhir Champion. But you also have 2 squads of Hearthkin warriors.
Truth.
And then the Hernkin Outriders, which Hernkin Pioneers, which are on the sort of grav bikes.
Right, that's a very good army set.
And that is
pretty
everything
good.
you need to sort of start your Leagues of Votann army. All in one
it's
box.
pretty much a combat patrol, so you can make a combat patrol out of it, and it's not far.
Because there's 2 squads in HQ, and then
to put the units together and build
I
the
would
options.
assume the bikes are fast
But
attack.
yes, it's a really solid start to an army. It's quite a lot of firepower on those bikes, and the
one bike has
core
got a
troopers
big
in the Leagues of
minigun
Votann
on
are
it.
surprisingly durable and well equipped with all sorts of special weapons. So a pretty decent start. If you pick this box up when it launches, by the time you finish kind of assembling and painting them, the rest of the army will be well on its way.
One of my things, it's nice to see these all sort of in such a concentration, and you get a real sense of how sort of the Ironkin sort of stand in amongst them. There's a couple of little Ironkin helmets sort of bobbling
the little
around in the
domes.
units. There's one.
Just behind Uthar, right at the front, you can see the Ironkin with his kind of domed chrome head.
It just feels super nice.
Little dome. Ghost of Starman. I really like that they made the special character variant for regular HQ easier to part scrapping. Yeah.
It's great.
Scott Radom, there he is over on Twitch. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this is what the box might look like. And Raph just pressed some buttons. We're back.
Codex.
Inside the box, you also get a codex, which contains obviously all the lore and everything that you would need to know about the new army,
laser
along
beams
with all the rules.
Riddick
So
bikes.
the
They
codex
kind of
comes
are.
in the box, in the launch box, has a special cover, which is the only place you'll be able to get that version of the codex. Otherwise, it is the same as the standard codex, will be released very soon afterwards. But your first chance to get hold of that codex is in that army launch set. And it's got everything you'd expect from a codex. So obviously, the first time you've ever had a codex
the army
for the
set
League of Votann,
first,
so
and
all
then
of the lore, a lot of the lore will
everybody
be
can get the
pretty
stuff
much brand
afterwards.
new. And
is that what he's saying?
It's got everything you expect: crusade rules and stratagems and data sheets and everything.
I would assume this would be
and there's also a lot of
day one with everything, no?
As well, apparently. So there you go. Right,
Sophie, I would have preferred the bikes had
we
wheels than
showed
grab
more
bikes.
than just the contents of this army box within
I guess.
that teaser video.
What's
here
that
is,
gun?
A glimpse of
And who's the little
Chthonian
duder?
Berserk
He's a robot
mole
duder.
grenade launcher, which not only has a very long name, but also looks pretty rad. What are Chthonian
he's
Berserks, and why
carrying
do
his
they need a mole
axe.
grenade launcher, Eddie?
So we've seen the Chthonian Berserks already. We saw the units of them, but one of the upgrade
Mole
options for the
grenade
units,
launcher.
if you choose to take
the
it,
mole
is
grenade.
the mole grenade launcher, which is a bit of a nod back to some of the kind of ancient squad
in Rogue
tech,
Trader, they used to have all sorts of mole,
that you
mole
might remember
launchers.
from
Mole
yesteryear.
mortar.
But basically, this is a mining-based weapon, so you can fire a grenade underneath the ground. It can burrow underneath and pop up in amongst the enemy, be it they're hiding in a bunker or behind a mountain or something like that.
That sounds cool.
But the thing that I really like about it is just the whole piece is basically like a little diorama. So you've got the Berserk carrying around the gun, and they've got their little Ironkin assistant who following them around, and every time the Ironkin turn up, they're basically just trying to be as helpful as they possibly can. So this one is carrying the
Fire Drake, I'm going to ride it like I
axe,
stole it.
on his back. He's got all the spare ammo. You can imagine him kind of like helpfully passing
Chris, I think we should help
extra
Chris
ammos
out,
and
hit
grenades
that like button, help the channel out.
The gunner
43
after firing
people
shots.
watching
It's
and
just
only
a
5
lovely little
likes.
scene,
Yeah, what
but
the heck,
also a
people?
really powerful piece in your 40K army.
Feel free to give that like.
Also, awesome nod on
Smythe,
the
that's a
back
really
of
weird
the
place
Ironkin.
for the
You can
site.
see that heavy plasma axe.
Why is it on the barrel?
and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
blade
Why is it on the barrel and
isn't,
not like
visible,
part of the
obviously,
doodads on his
sort
head,
of,
right?
Is it,
Or her.
activated?
I don't know if it's a he or her,
It
but-
projects this sort
Anyway.
of plasma energy blade. Really cool, I thought. To,
Quite a fun idea for painting as well. So when you come to paint your plasma blades on the Votann, you could imagine the
why would
plasma
that
is
scope
like
be on the
different
front of the
colours
gun like
depending
that,
on what the plasma, what kind of
Should be
plasma
on the
is doing,
dude,
or what
right?
it's just hit,
Or
or what's
on
in the
the
atmosphere, and all sorts of
robot
different
duder.
things. So, a good excuse to do some fancy painting where you're so inclined.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said, Chthonian, is that not a Space Marine homeworld? Well, it was a Space Marine homeworld, but then since the Votann are like pre-imperial, who knows? I could imagine they'll have a dispute over naming should they ever meet any sort of teal armored space.
Ghost of Starman,
Marines.
reckon the mole
Right.
rockets will have high
What else we
AP,
got?
digging through the ground, good
Here's the Brock here,
practice for
Iron
digging through
Master,
armor. Yeah,
and again, a lot of iron.
Oh, look at this thing.
Sort of symbiotic
Iron Master,
sort of
the
nature
Broker
going on
Iron
with
Master.
the kin of Votann and their sort of iron kin. I really like the idea that no matter
they're supposed to be floating.
contained within their lore, that
The little
the
robot
kin are kin,
duders.
regardless of whether they're
I
flesh
thought those were
or
their
iron.
legs or something on
and
the
here
base.
you have the
But it's
Iron
supposed to be like
Master
they're
surrounded
floating
by
or whatever.
essentially his allied.
Yeah,
Encore. Hi.
Abominable intelligence.
Have they just started Age of Sigmar reveals?
They would
No,
rephrase,
we're
perhaps
right
the
into 40k.
would,
This is the first
so
one.
You've basically got two different types of
we are currently
mechanical
going through
assistant there.
the
You've
Leagues
got
of
the
Votan.
Ironkin, which is the one
This
you
is
can
the
see at
first
the bottom
one.
left.
Still
the
three
one,
more
the three at the
games
top
to go.
are cogs, which are not quite as advanced as the Ironkin in terms of their kind of mental capacity. So if you think about them more like combat familiars or pets or something like that. So the Ironkin at the bottom is kind of a comparable intelligence to one of the Leagues of Votan warriors, one of the kin.
On the Warhammer Plus
side,
I would
kind
just
of be as helpful as
watch
possible and can have like detailed conversations and even be involved in kind of tactical decisions. Whereas the cogs are really just there to
gives
kind
you
of
some
fulfill
good background on these little
so
fellers.
think about them like familiars basically in it.
I like this dude.
Adds another thing to
what kind of gun is that?
Is best
it does indeed.
I like
they seem pretty well armed for familiars as well.
Iron Master
Somebody
gun?
said, "What is that gun?" I'm going to tell you what the gun is. The Brockhill Iron Master is equipped with a graviton rifle and a graviton hammer, and then his Ironkin assistant is equipped with a las beam cutter. So I assumed you meant the Brockhill Iron Master.
And there is obviously the Iron Master himself to talk about. It's not just a unit of robots.
AI robots,
he's
Men
kind
of
of
Iron returning.
the main event.
Well, for the I think for the Votan,
kind of,
they never
engineer
left.
tech marine equivalent. This is the character that can fix the vehicles.
And is Adam listening to me?
Augment nearby
are you listening
units,
to me right
weaponry
now?
and things like that. So this is if you've got a vehicle-heavy Leagues of Votan force, you might want to consider having an Iron Master in there. It also gives you like a ranged hero as well, if you'd rather do your killing from far away.
So I imagine this is all one unit, right?
I
haven't really been listening to their.
I mean, he still has a graviton.
He still has a big hammer, right?
He'll be all right.
He'll do all right. He'll do all right. He'll squish a grot if it gets into combat.
Yeah. Now, this could well be my favourite model in the.
Oh, look at that! Oh, look at the head, the alternate head.
You have here the Grimnir. Which is a model. So the Grimnir is in the centre. But there's an alternate option which you can see on the right hand side.
I like the ornate head robot dudes.
What is a Grimnir? I guess is the real question, Eddie.
So a Grimnir is an important part of Leagues of Votan culture. They do a few different things for the Leagues of Votan. So in game terms, the main thing that you'll notice is this is a Psyker. But unlike the Psykers in things like the Humanity or in Eldar or something like that, the Grimnir is a designed Psyker. So all of the Leagues of Votan organic
what was that?
kin
Radagast?
are created
Looks like
as
Radagast.
clones through clone schemes, which are basically like templates that make people. And they've got a template which can make a
weird flying
stable
stance. Yeah,
so they've created
it's the new flying
to
stance.
fill the role of Psyker within their armies. But they do a little bit more than that. They're also
I like the head with the braids.
The Leagues of Votan have to priests in an otherwise relatively kind of secular culture and society. And you can see from the kind of style of the miniature that it's nodding a little bit to that kind of ancient Nordic idea of the kind of wise old wizard and his ravens following
definitely
him around.
Getting that, yeah.
But
pretty
obviously,
damn cool.
40k'd up, right? So the
Firejack, I prefer the bearded one. Yeah, the bearded one's cool too, but I like the one with the braids as well.
Robots with heavy bolters slung under them.
Like it looks a bit more like it's a female, as opposed to
I can probably
bearded.
They're equipped with Auroch pattern bolters.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Loads better.
And he's carrying his ancestral ward stave. So there you go.
It's taking scenic rock to a whole new level there as well.
And that was actually going to be my question to you. Do you know anything about the
Zartan? Zartan. Yeah, from G.I. Joe. Yeah,
what his psychic power is.
So I haven't actually looked at the psychic powers yet. So
that's very exciting.
So no, I'm just going to go with no.
But I'm speculating here.
So this is
his rock pile does not look naturally.
Dwarves don't usually have psychers. Well, I guess in the old rules for in fantasy, right? They had the
or she, because there's an
forge
build in there as well.
Runes.
You can make it either a male or
runes on everything.
Absolutely.
That was
but yes, there's a pile of stones there. You can imagine kind of levitating up using his psychic powers. And again, it's kind of nodding to that. Mining aesthetic almost that kind of
Ghost of Starman. I like the bearded one more on the kit, but the other one will be more useful for putting someone else, I think.
Battlefield, so they'd look very, very cool, I think, very appropriate at home if you wanted to do them on like a moonscape or a lunar surface.
The braided head,
yeah, absolutely. I'm
put that on like one of the big suits.
Random dwarf and painting him up, and if I do nothing else with the Leagues of Votan, it's this guy. But the question is whether that army box is going to hook
I think this might be my favourite model in this range.
That's pretty damn cool.
And especially with the two supporting cogs there as well. I think this is one of the strongest miniatures, I think. It's very, very cool.
Now, it's not by any means the biggest thing.
It's not the biggest.
No.
Protoclone.
This is the biggest.
Braided head gives me Raceland Mirror vibes.
Oh, look at this thing! Designed for rough terrain and exploring. Tell me more, Eddie.
So
Holy
this is the largest miniature in the Leagues of Votan army. This is their mainline battle tank. So it does
Look at
a
that
few
side
things.
door. It looks,
you can see it's absolutely covered in weapons. There's all
almost
sorts
like
of
an Eldar
bolt
Falcon
or,
door on the back of the
rail
Falcons.
weapons all over that thing. It's got some kind of anti-air stuff at the back there, and it's got your main cannon on the top, which has a few different options. All of the guns are ruinously powerful. It's also very durable, so it's got both reinforced armor and force fields built into various different parts of it.
It's
so
got a bunch of domes on it.
pretty well. It's also a transport, so you can carry 12 of your kin around, so it fills a role.
Look at how cute the little door is.
The doors are pretty cute, yeah. But less cute when some Chthonic Berserkers come charging out with Plasma Axes, I imagine.
Yeah, 100%.
But this fills a number of roles in your army. So this is your mainline battle tank, but it's also your transport.
I know people are definitely have mixed feelings on the vehicles for these guys.
A Land Raider
like
cross
these
with a
vehicles.
hammerhead is probably the way to think about it.
Love it. Also, you said Akin.
The Hecaton Land Fortress.
Here are some close-ups of the different things, including a
he's got a little co-pilot
through with the.
It's got missiles up in the body.
Windscreen dome thing taken off the front. Somebody said, "Is that transparent plastic?" The answer is yes. And here you have the driver and his
Fire Drake. I like this. Yeah, I like it too.
I like to assume gunner. I've no idea.
I like it.
What. Who knows? The gun on top is particularly fearsome, right?
Yeah, so you've got a few options, but the one that is
their
on the
armored
screen right
moon
now
buggies.
is the
Yeah,
Magna
pretty much.
Rail Cannon. And basically, it's uses similar sort of tech than the Tower figured out. So it's a railgun equivalent. So it can punch through invulnerable saves. It can also do some pretty nasty stuff like if you roll the right combination of dice, you can basically keep doing wounds to a unit after the initial model has died. So even though it's only a single shot weapon,
a railgun.
you can wipe out chunks of squad just with the sheer velocity of the hit. Basically, you can shoot through multiple models.
Shoots through schools.
Love it. Fantastic. I
like the co-pilot dude. He's got a little robot benumbed beside him.
The sort of thing that when the Votan first sort of set off into the stars and found themselves, drifting towards those core. Oh, look at this army shot! It's amazing.
Man!
Originally sort of designed for exploration and finding where all the precious minerals are. But like everything in their entire faction, it is so well sort of turned towards the purposes of warfare.
Yeah, it looks very kind of near future explorator thing, doesn't it? So you could almost imagine something like this, exploring Mars in 100 years or something.
David Archer, it's an 88 Magnum.
Yeah,
pretty
really
much.
Nice
It's an 88
Magnum. Between that kind of
freaking railgun,
human
man.
Sci-fi sort of vibe.
Oh, look at the other one in the
mixed with that
background.
Classic
It's got a
dwarven
different gun
archetype with kind of hints of Viking and Anglo-Saxon and all sorts of a kind of a rich mythology mixed in amongst them as well. So that's your army shot. That's everything in the force. And some unfortunate Black Legion who appear to be on the receiving end of a
you're gonna have some
Votan
bad
charge
guys in
right
the
now.
shot,
Maybe they're fighting over the name.
They could be fighting over the name. That could be it. But it's a really cool looking army. I think it's
I
going to be
love
interesting
that.
to see it on the tabletop.
The land fortress.
And
I
obviously
like that.
we're going to take a closer look
That's
at things like
freaking
some of the
cool, man.
rules and exactly what all these various different units do over the course of the next few weeks.
And the army box is very close in terms of.
It's got the big gun on top. It's got the little gun in the back.
September,
and it's got 4 guns around it.
To hand, who are in Europe will have noticed that it is now September.
We're in.
It is the first of September, so you don't have to wait too long at all before you can have the first of these models in your hands.
There we go.
A couple of comments in the chat that are probably worth addressing. Somebody says that is not a land train. You are correct, as it said on the label. Is Hecaton land
Where's
fortress.
the land train? Yeah.
That's true. If you wanted to buy 3 of them and roll them around together, that's on you. That's cool.
I'm not
Sophie, I can see the box being sold out very quickly.
Says, definitely. I've seen that one or 2 times. Scrolling by. The guard will.
Is it the box set? No, the box set
had.
had.
You've waited a while for some Imperial Guards. Imagine
the
like
bikes,
misty-eyed
and 2
Adam
characters.
Troke, whose first ever Warhammer 40,000 models were squats back in the day. I think they were called Space Dwarfs on that box, like one of those original plastic sets.
Astra Militarum and World Eaters.
So if
for
you think
winter.
you've waited a while for your new codex, think how
So
long
I assume
it's
that's
been,
what,
like,
October, November, December?
The return of the leagues.
But
speaking of which,
we can give you a bit of a sense of when these things are coming. So right now, if you hop over to gamesworkshop.com, you will notice that Codex Chaos Demons is available for pre-order and will be dropping in stores this weekend. We know that the army box for the Leagues of Votan will be landing in September with the Leagues of Votan Codex hot on its heels. And then in winter this year, we will have first the Astra Militarum and then the World Eaters close behind. So it is an exciting few months ahead for
Astra Militarum and World Eaters.
I think this sort of next tranche is very, very exciting. The Votan, which is like, sort of like undiscovered countries.
Well, we kind of figured that Astra Militarum was getting an update, right? Like, we're not really surprised by that.
We had a tease a few weeks back of some of the...
And World Eaters, we knew that like months ago.
The Astra Militarum. And then who knows?
I think with those last 3 codexes, the fact that you've waited till the end of all the other codexes means that you've probably got some pretty cool
World
stuff.
Eaters, oh my, yeah.
Seconded. Right. Whew. So,
Chris
we're about halfway through our time. But
winter officially not till December 21st, so it tells me Astra Militarum won't be until
take us on to
2024.
the next subject.
Oh. Ooh, Nether Maze. Oh! Reap skulls beneath the rolling waves. These guys look... Oh, they're corn dooders. That guy looked like Buddy from Temple of Doom. Kalima. Kalima. Drom. Oh, he's cool. I take it back. I was making fun of him, but I take it back. He's kind of cool looking. Kalima. The big guy with the horns, he looks like the corpse grinders from Necromunda. The Gore Chosen of Drom.
A new warband for Warhammer Underworlds.
Oh, it's just 3 duders?
Tell us all about the Gore Chosen of Drom.
Kim, this is much more my
the
thing.
Gore Chosen of Drom, as you say, Adam, a brand new Warhammer Underworlds.
Yeah, look at the guy on the left. He looks like a corpse grinder.
Character warbands, so they are towards the elite end of the spectrum. And we have seen some Khorne warbands before.
These guys look
we haven't
big.
seen any since the very first season back in the Age of Shadespire. So it's nice to see the Blood Gods with some new followers.
I'm going to do that every
the
time.
Hex.
Yeah, cover your heart.
These
yeah,
are
for
a
sure.
very different kind of flavour of Khornic warband than the ones we've seen before, which have always been sort of based on the your kind of battle line units, whereas this is very definitely
I can't
character warband. So you've got in the centre, you've got your priest, Drom himself, and then you've got his kind of fiery smith on the right, which we have seen that miniature before, but he's in his warband.
We saw that one.
And then on the left, I think is my favourite, which is basically a character which is well on his way to turning into a Korgoroth. So the swollen with the power of Khorne, probably not quite in the way that he anticipated.
Oh, he's swole, right?
You can already imagine that guy's going to be an absolute powerhouse of muscle and death in the game.
He doesn't carry any weapons. I assume he just kills you with his fist.
On his way to becoming a Korgoroth, you can see sort of those first sort of elements of the sort of transmutation of flesh, as it were, right?
Yeah, I remember seeing the Korgoroth for the first time and being like, how does that happen? And it kind of answers it pretty well, actually. There's the missing link, as it were, between mortal and whatever a Korgoroth is.
Yes, quite. Also, enormous shout out for the model on the right hand side, who frankly is repping my body type in the
everyone's welcome in Khorne. Khorne cares not.
Yeah, he's got some love handles for sure. He's got love handles.
There's a lot to like. A little glimpse of
Khorne is love
on their way. It's worth talking about, I guess, what this warband does for you in Underworlds. As you would expect, as devotees of Khorne, they are incredibly good in a fight. Because
was it
a priest of Khorne, you're going to see some things that perhaps you've not really seen before, especially in the Underworld.
It's about as subtle as Khorne gets with some of the abilities.
Yeah, go on. So do you want to run us through it?
Chris is star, man. I like the other two as well, but I'm loving the big guy. Yeah, the big guy. The guy looks like a corpse grinder.
You can either use that on your own models, or you can use
probably not the same size though. These guys are big, but
all sorts of.
They never know. They could be on the 25 mil basis.
So you can move enemy models off objectives into your models. You can force enemy who don't want to be in combat to be in combat with you, and then hit them with your own characters. So it's a really, really flexible little ability that really can mess up an opponent's plans and make it much easier for your quite small numbered warbands to find and trap enemy fighters and kill them. Basically.
Yeah, I dig this.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea of being able to haul those warbands off of objectives that I'm struggling to sort of contest. So
give us Kali Ma one more time. Come on, boys.
Playing.
Boys.
So I quite like the idea of a warband that can make you either come off or send one of my guys on.
Yeah, if you're playing against someone who's got objective heavy, you can pretty much just force them to not play that game.
I'm trying to remember what the hell the rest of the crowd says.
Which is exactly what Khorne would want. So it plays very differently to the Khornic warbands we've already seen, but it's still very much all about collecting skulls.
Fire Drake, I like a lot of meat on my models. Yeah.
So this is the
Get some good love handles.
That, sort of
what's he called? Gore Hulk? He's a
Gore
Hulk?
Model. And just an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah, that's it, Chris. Yeah. A boom shabat. A boom
This
shabi.
really lovely.
A boom
swatchy
shabi.
rule
A
as
boom
well.
shabi. A boom shabi.
Yeah, so it's
Kalima.
pretty cool. So basically, he's got two different attacks. They're both short-range combat attacks.
Tiger also Kalima.
One of them is a kind of a stun attack, basically, so you can stop the enemy from doing all sorts of things by having done it. The other one is
That's choking grip.
that's your choking grip,
Kalima.
yeah. And the
A
other
boom
one
shabi.
is
A boom
your
shabi.
crushing grip, which is just a pure damage dealer. But the thing that's nice about it,
I
is
swear to God,
obviously
I'm not
he's in
even
that
high.
warband that allows you to force enemy models to charge you. Then you can choking grip the enemy model,
Scott, yeah.
forcing it to kind of
Kalima,
like,
shabum
take away lots of
debe.
its abilities and
Bum
making it difficult
dee
for them to get
bum
out of the way.
dee
And then you
dee.
can hit them
Jeez
again,
Louise.
so you can hit them multiple times.
couldn't even say that
in the
once. I'm
same
not
turn
even
without
trying to
this guy
repeat that.
even charging. So there's some really nice combos, even without looking at some of the cards
Gore Hulk.
that you can play with these guys as well. So it's
you can play
going to
them.
be a really fun warband to play, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to collect. It's only 3 dudes.
Who is your main Adam? I think there's a reference to, which is my default warband.
Kalima.
So I have played more
I-
games with Steel.
Of
Hammer
these
Champions,
3, I
the
think it's
original sort of,
in the order in
first,
which we see them on the screen.
Shades by
So
Box
left,
than
middle,
every
right.
other warband I own put together. But I have a secret thing
Although
for
the big guy
fire stations
and the guy with the
just gone
headpiece
out of my head. How bad is
kind of
that?
a close for.
I'm sure the chat will enlighten you.
I've literally drawn a blank because they were the first
first.
time I ever tried the contrast paints on model.
I definitely like the guy in the middle though. He's cool.
Right. So
all jokes
here we go.
aside.
Coming soon for Warhammer Underworlds, and it's really quite soon, right?
They are very soon. Again, this is a September release. The chat is told Chosen Axes, Adam. Chosen Axes.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yes, of course. Side note, not of any relevance, but one of them lived inside the glove box of my car for about 6 months because I brought him into work to show what I'd done with the contrast paints, and he stayed there.
It sounds like he's
I
banging.
mean,
Oi,
you-
Jesus. Tiger Olsen. Thank you. Oh,
Sweltering heat.
wrong screen.
The,
hold on. Let's see if we
the
can do it right
whole-
here.
I don't know.
I really still thought he was trapped in some kind of half-remembered afterlife somewhere in the realm of Chase.
Quite so.
I was going to do it, but it was on the other part of the
we
screen.
are staying for a little while longer in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Mortal
Sophie,
Realms.
the good sets to get
Still
3
come,
mini
though.
box
We've got
just for the
more
minis to
Warhammer
paint.
40,000
Don't even play the game.
and
No,
some
well,
Horus Heresy,
and
so
Warhammer
let's
Underworlds. I
continue
mean,
with
like, yeah, they're
Warhammer
just a couple
Age of Sigmar
models.
video.
I mean, I've bought a few of them just for the little models, right? Like the fish and everything.
Been a victim of unjust
Oh, a
destruction
missing dog.
at the hands of rampaging saurians.
Dinosaur.
Do you wish you had a pair of big, strong arms
Mom.
to butcher your Skaven problem?
And
For
beat up them
creature
Skaven.
problems, great and small.
Oh, I'm beating up a big giant crab.
Blood-pelt hunter today. Main course service. With
Oh, is that what this is? Christmas stuff already?
leftovers.
Blood Pelt Hunter. Uh-oh. Oh! What's this? Is he a giant or is he an ogre? What?
I think Chad has
What?
lost it over the poor
What
old
was
Chad.
that?
So we have now seen a new model for
What was that?
the Ogre Moor tribes. This is the Bloodpelt Hunter, and he's a curious looking fella.
Yep.
What is he?
Look at
So
that.
we've seen a few hunters for the ogres. This is a new plastic miniature, and this is a kind of loner of the ogre tribes, basically. So he is a monster hunter expert. So you can see there that he's got an enormous great crossbow, which hits with the power of a ballista. He's also got like a variety of
skin
different
is just
weapons, including
begging
harpoons
to,
and all sorts of stuff.
get a
And
bunch
all
of
them are
tattoos
basically designed
painted
to
on
take
it and
out
everything.
monsters. So if you're up against a kind of monster-heavy army, which there are a lot of them around currently,
Kris,
in Age of Sigmar, almost every army you
That
face
model
has got some
is
variety of
Canadian
monster.
as you
This
get,
is one of your units
LOL.
to kind of deal with that threat at range.
So if we have to get him
while
for
the
my
rest of
ogres,
your,
yeah, no kidding. This
unit
guy's cool
deals
looking.
With the battle line and the squishier stuff.
I like he's got the big
an
dragon
interesting
head on his belt.
for an ogre, which is that when he
Or is
takes
that-
out
that's
a
his
monster,
quiver.
he almost always takes a trophy of
Yes, the
something.
dragon head is his
And the reason
quiver.
that's interesting for an ogre is that usually they eat everything, right? So it's incredibly rare for an ogre to decide
And I mean, like,
not
it's
to
pretty
eat
bold
part
for
of
like a
thing.
guy who's
So,
you know,
the
some
other
sort
ogres think he's a little
of
bit
sharpshooter
weird,
that
maybe for,
he blindfolds himself.
keeping things like
Like,
the
that's
heads
kind of a flex,
some
right?
kind of saurian beast or the pelt of a bear to
He's
keep
just
him
so
warm, or
badass a shot
antlers
that,
or something
you know, he
as
doesn't even need
as
to
a kind of
see, he
trophy.
just-
But he doesn't care. He's a loner. That's his thing. And this guy is going to form part of your ogre Moor tribes army.
Is it weird that I really love the pelt / head of that bear type creature?
Yeah, it
on
is
his
weird.
back? I think it just looks amazing.
That's weird.
And
Quit being
I
weird.
kind of want to know what it's from.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nice things about like lots of the your kind of Age of Sigmar monstery things is that you get little hints to
Fire
the
Drake,
wider
not impressed.
setting, and maybe at some point we will see
Tiger
Olsen.
Olsen. He looks like Nico Avocado if he was in Warhammer. I'm not familiar with who Nico Avocado is.
Bespoke quiver.
But I'll take your word
he's
for
using
it.
that to hold on to his arrows. So,
Can
that's
ogres
pretty
need
cool.
more
Everyone
stuff?
needs to
Yeah.
accessorize.
Oh yeah. Well, they're pretty small,
You're
right?
gonna love it. So, yes,
David
a fantastic
Archer
model for the
Shoots a
Ogre
Stormcast dragon out of the air.
and
Oh, sorry, eh?
quite unexpected. I think I hadn't really
Okay.
imagined that we might get.
Oh, there's dragons
cool
flying
sort of
around,
hunter
eh? You
of
gotta be
beasts.
careful.
So yeah, very welcome.
You could
What's
do
this all
quite a
about?
cool. It fits in nicely with the kind of Beastclaw Raider sort of vibe. If you wanted a kind of roving ogre ahead, and one of the things that's quite nice, I guess, is
Ogres don't get frostbite.
sort of fills that
or
gap
need to see.
between
Yeah, apparently.
your heavily armored infantry ogres and the wandering nomadic ogres. Kind of crosses
yeah, the
those
ogre,
two a little bit.
very,
so
very
it
cool.
feels cohesive as an army when you put them all on the table together.
Yeah, and I think
I dig it.
rules-wise, he's going to bring something quite interesting to the force. He has an ability to essentially sort of slink around in sort of out of sight of the enemy and move if he's not sort of
Proto-clone. Really hope there is more for
so
Age of
essentially
Sigmar
like a
Flesh
little
Eater
bit of
Court
repositioning for better shots
specifically.
and stuff, and that just
Yeah,
I
he's
have
quite
no idea.
sneaky.
I
In an
have no
army
idea
that is
what's
full of
coming.
a lot of brute force.
not a lot
and-
of subtlety typically.
Yeah, he gives you some interesting tactical options for an ogre army. But obviously, he's still got a massive crossbow, which is pretty unsubtle, and he's still gonna, eat you in a fight. So
Are they looking at me?
he's not that subtle,
Super.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
that's
love
great.
it.
I thought they were looking at me like, what?
That is not the only Warhammer.
That's
Age of
twice now
Sigmar,
they got me. That's twice now they got me.
Kit. We're
I
gonna
thought
do
Adam was listening to me
something
earlier.
a little bit.
Oh. Warhammer?
Well, look at this. Little book of stories for the squishies. Well, I has got a real story. Behemoth was coming back, and the world was trembling. Till the hammer god killed him stone dead.
I guess he doesn't like the Stormcast.
His tiny, sheeting hammer. And now they think we're done.
Mountain's jacked.
Broken. But they is wrong. And
Think it's
we
giants?
Don't
More giants?
get. King Broad's got a bone to pick with all the shiny squishies.
New giant?
Oh.
Man, look at all that. Hey, there's that little thing. We saw that in the frickin' rumor engine. And the hair. Huh.
King Broad. He's a big boy.
He is. So this is literally the biggest character
King
in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. This is King Broad of the Sons of Behemat, a mega gargant. If you have been following Age of Sigmar since its inception, since the battles of the Realmgate Wars, you will remember that there was a King Broad who was present during the Realmgate Wars when Behemat was slain by the God King, when the Celestant Prime, using Galmaraz and the power of Sigmar, basically killed
When Blizzblam and his
Behemat,
hand.
the World Titan. King Broad witnessed that event.
Fire Drake, now that's a giant.
And
Yeah,
since
he's
then
pretty
has
cool
had
looking.
a burning hatred for the forces of Sigmar, specifically the Stormcast Eternals. And
I
like
recognize
many
the
of the
little goblins
mega
on his
gargants,
armor
he
there
has
and
grown
everything like
over
that.
the years, swollen with the power, the unleashed power of Behemat, which is now flowing through his sons.
And I think we had a
has
preview of
become
that
basically
hair
the
with the
mightiest
skulls and everything.
champion of the giants, of the gargants in the mortal realms. And he goes through the realms spreading the story of him witnessing the death of their father, Behemat, at the hand of Sigmar, rallying the other gargants to his cause.
Yeah,
He's
that
effectively
upper
the
right-hand
de facto
corner.
leader
Remember
of
we
the
saw
Sons
that
of
on the
Behemat,
rumor engine?
But he's also a priest, so he's kind of surprisingly
I
good
like that
orator
helmet.
for a
Like
Gargant,
is the
and the other
headpiece for him?
Sons of Behemat
That's really
follow
cool.
him.
I'm not sure what sort of a bar that sets.
Well, I mean, it's a low hurdle, but he easily steps over it because he's quite tall. So the model is spectacular. So it's based on the same core frame as the rest of the Sons of Bahamut miniatures, a little bit like your knight, I suppose, in Warhammer 40,000.
Sure.
But this is a named character, and it's got all sorts of very cool stuff on it. So the most kind of striking thing, I suppose, is that dragon head. So you can imagine one of the ancient drakes, maybe ridden by a stormcast, thought they could take this guy out. Not so much.
Now it's a fancy hat.
Now it's a hat. He's also got the biggest hammer in Warhammer, made of a tree with what appears to be a stone column attached to it. And he's covered in creepers, which are a thing that's going to be introduced, which are basically little helpers for the Gargants, and they do things like apply their war paint and probably
brush
history.
It sounds so wholesome.
I mean, I'm sure they're horrible little skittering, destructive.
It's good to see they've
creatures,
changed how
one in the
giants
top
look
right
for the
looks
character.
pretty adorable, right? Like all in and amongst the giant's hair there. But if you're wondering how the giants had the dexterity to thread little tiny bones and skulls into their hair and beards, now we know they've got little creeper friends who do it for them.
Oh, I want little creeper friends.
If we can just dive back for 1 second,
other than just big creepers,
trying to keep us on track, I imagine.
Other than just big creepy friends.
I want to call out how incredible the face is on this model. Truly,
yeah, I really like this.
Outstanding. Not
the painting
just,
and that sculpt of the face is
sublime job
really
that
cool.
the miniatures design team have done with the sculpting, but also whoever painted this miniature must have spent, I'm assuming, hundreds of hours. Just absolutely really something else.
I don't know about
the first time
hours,
I saw it, I was
definitely
absolutely captivated.
Knowing the Citadel heavy metal team, they probably don't really get that much time to
why has it got a symbol of corn?
Get these projects done, and I'm sure they're probably under the crunch all the time to get these models painted.
He's got all sorts of icons and symbols on him. So you've got a symbol of corn there, but he's also got a Wanderer's shield. He's also got a bit of a Leviathan shell. He's got some bits of
anything he wants. He's big enough to take it.
If you're holding a shield and he wants it, he's going to get it. But the miniature is very cool because of the way that it's built, and because of the headdress and the kind of horns on its back there. It stands a little bit taller than the rest of your Gargant, so it'll look quite appropriate. One of my favourite things is
I bet the little toothbrushes will give him a few weak attacks, just like Mortarians and Nurglings.
Yeah. He's slain.
Yeah.
So he's kind of wandered through the mortal realms, smashing forces
I dig
of
this
order
model.
and taking
I usually don't get fired up for Age of Sigmar stuff,
which is quite a
especially
fun
if it's
thing.
not deep.
But every other Mega Gargants are already an incredible kit, but this one I think is takes it to a whole other level. Very very cool. You can. This is a model that you can use.
Fire trick. His little friends look so happy.
Force.
Yeah, the little goblins or whatever the heck they are. What did they call them? I can't remember what they called.
He's a powerful model just from being a Mega Gargant.
He's infested with them anyway.
He's also a force multiplier for the rest of your Gargant force. So, watch out for this guy if you're playing Age of Sigmar.
Yeah. The chat seems pretty appreciative of the just incredible levels of detail that have gone into it. And there are some extremely funny comments about how much lotion he'd need for his knees to support the sort of.
But at least he's got the creepers to apply it, though, right? So.
Oh, creepers! Is that what they call them?
The idea of these creepers who look like properly sort of maniacal and a bit menacing.
Do you think we'll see creepers as plushies?
Yeah, really good.
Do you think that's why they were invented?
Nice, right? So
for
King
merch?
Rod, the sort of
I'd fucking get one.
King of the Sons of
I'd get a
plush. That kind of works.
Creeper plushie.
Yeah, lovely. What a
but you can read about him in the
Tristan Weird Toes. Yeah, the Weird Toes.
Go back and remember the original.
I don't know. I'm not much of a foot guy.
So. He's quite a kind of popular character back then in kind of Age of Sigmar.
I mean, I've got my fetishes, but
who were right there at the
Toes
start.
ain't
so those characters that sort of underpin the mortal realms, but you hadn't seen.
Yeah, there was
Ghost of Starman. This gives me a cool idea. Actually, giants fighting each other could be like ship-to-ship combat with the Gribbly guys swinging across the platform, boarding action. Yeah, that would actually be pretty cool.
So this is a nice kind of nod back,
kind of like Gorkamork,
as nostalgic as you can get
giants and little creepers and goblins.
7 years old.
7 years old already.
6 or 7. Who knows? The time flies.
There we go. Right. There's a little bit more.
There's more.
There's more.
What about
this? Man, we're getting spoiled. More Age of Sigmar. Holy moly. Uh-oh. Everything's cracking up. Yeah, we saw these Beast Eaters before, didn't we? Oh, look at that. New Chaos Knights? Oh, these guys look cool. Wow. That guy's cool. I think we've seen this guy, right? And we saw these duders? Big Beast Man. But the Chaos Knights. Look at these guys. I like that guy. That guy's cool looking. David Arch. This makes me so happy. Yeah, I'll bet. Chaos, man. This is the year of chaos.
So the Slaves of Darkness are set to return. We saw
Slaves of Darkness.
The last time you and I were doing a Warhammer preview, which covered the Mortal Realms.
We did.
And here we see a bit more. Fill us in on this release of Slaves of Darkness.
Yeah, so we knew they were coming. We knew the Slaves of Darkness were on their way, and the armies of the Ever-Chosen, the black-clad killers of Chaos were marching.
What font is that?
We can now talk to you about the army set, which is on its way, which is the first time, a little bit like what we saw with the Leagues of Votan, the first time you'll be able to get your hands on some of the new miniatures, and the first time you'll be able to get your hand on the Battle Tome.
Oh.
So some of these miniatures we've seen before, some of them we haven't. So we've got the Ogroids in the top right there, which are your kind of heavy-hitting elite shock troops. But
yeah, we saw
pretty
those
much
last
everything
time,
in the Slaves to Darkness army is a heavy-hitting elite shock troops.
Quite.
You've got the Demon Prince, which is the
Demon Prince
you can see in the middle of the army there. That is the Demon Prince we previewed previously, which is the multi-part, incredibly flexible kit with all sorts of options. You can build it as
he's
any
for
of the
40k
Chaos
as
Gods.
well,
You
right?
can also, were you so inclined, build it as its Warhammer 40,000 incarnation.
Yes, indeed.
And then the kind of meat of the box, I suppose, is that huge unit of Chosen. You can see at the front there, and these models are just phenomenally cool.
Every single one of these looks like they
Look
could
at
be
these
a
guys.
character model in an army, quite frankly.
Yeah,
like the
they
guy in
look
the
as good as
bottom
Chaos
middle
Lords
row.
looked about a decade ago, right? So, like,
Guy
you
in
look
the
at the
upper right
detail
looks
of
like
it,
you
even down
fucking
to
want one?
that one at the
I'll
front there with the
fucking give you
massive
one.
two-handed axe. You can see the detail in his eyes. He just looks like a stone-cold black
the guy's
black
just
armored
banging his
killer,
drum.
basically.
So I'm a Chaos
the
Warrior,
models
but
are
I like banging my
fabulous.
drum.
They're multi-build options, so you've got a few different ways that you can approach each one. Lots of interchangeability with things like heads and weaponry and things like that.
It's all about head.
The detail on them is beautiful. You can imagine these painted up in all
KC,
the
finally
various
it's coming out
different
so hyped for
incarnations
different
of
heads
Tornates
for
and
of
Zyujian
DP,
and,
yeah.
Nurgly and Slanesh, but they look pretty good in black and gold. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Amen.
Lovely detailing on things like the banner there as well, and all of the weapons are kind of like.
I mean, Chaos
runic,
always has the coolest banners. Who
kind
does
of
banners
blessed
better
by
than Chaos?
basically? So you've got that kind of
Maybe the
recurring,
elves, like the high
glowing
elves.
red power rune, which links back to things like Archeon shield. So you've got that kind of recurring motif.
Yeah,
across
they
the
look
whole
like
of the army.
Archeon, yeah.
I also think that there's going to be like a black market trade in things like the banner, because word bearers will be falling over themselves with that in Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
you're
I mean,
gonna see that in
Warhammer's got
40K,
some pretty
yeah, for
cool
sure.
toys this year already with the
No
Warhammer
doubt.
40,000 releases, but certainly, yes, absolutely. If you wanted to mix and match between
Constantly
Yeah, it's all
look
about
through
the
the
head.
kit
between
back
It's
Chaos
all about
Space
the head,
Marines and Chaos Warriors, that has been a perennial favourite of kit bashes, hasn't it? To
need
mix
options
the kits together and make some really nice combos.
for head.
But I mean, the models just out of the box.
Oh, the upper
are-
left
are
one, does that got
stunning
a
examples
hammer?
of
I
Chaos
thought there was
Warriors,
an
probably the
axe.
best looking Chaos Warrior
I
equivalent
think that's a hammer, right?
we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, this set also, as you've talked about, contains the Demon Prince. I think that's the next image that Raph is about to show. No, we've got the Ogrotherodons. How could I miss these guys? Such a tragic backstory, and now
these
such
guys
an
are cool.
integral part of Archaon's sort of martial efforts.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've seen these guys before, former warriors of destruction turned chaos. They, have particular hatred for the forces of destruction
Yeah, these
under
guys are pretty
Gorkamorka and are kind of
I mean, they're
now
cool.
under the sway of Archeon.
Am I
with
about
a
to go
desire
rush out
take
and
back
buy a
their
bunch?
ancestral homelands in the realm of beasts, but very much under the sway
I'm sure
of
somebody's
chaos.
good,
They're
like,
the kind of
just
lieutenants and champions of
salivating at the
Archeon's
mouth
army,
here,
looking after
looking
his
at these
holdings
things.
in the Varan,
Me personally?
in and around the Varan Spire.
Not so much.
Very
I can
cool
see
little
why
unit.
somebody would be salivating, but
And very bestial. Those weapons
Plus, too, I
again
don't play
kind of
Chaos
linking
and
back into those Chaos
Age of Sigmar.
Chosen, but
I
a little
collect,
bit more on the rough and rugged side,
Deepkin.
I suppose.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
elves.
And now the promised
But they're
Demon
blind
Prince Badum, as Eddie has
right, that's right, he gets
mentioned,
4 heads.
comes with a whole stack of options so that you can build him either as a Warhammer Age of Sigmar Demon Prince, a Warhammer 40,000 Demon Prince, and representing
It's such a
any
hard
one of
choice.
the great gods of chaos, or that head that you see on the model, which kind of can serve whichever purpose.
And obviously, all the things in this box as well will have their own separate release later on.
The
So
Zinch one
if
is
you have a
cool.
Chaos Space
The
Marine army,
Slanesh one is
lots of
cool.
You do.
The Nurgle one is
if
cool.
you don't want to pick
The
up
Khorne
this
one.
bit box and start a Slave to Darkness army,
It's
although
cool.
you should, because Age of Sigmar's great and you'll love the army.
So
you
the
will
official
also be able
synopsis
to
of
pick
all
this
that
guy
is,
up,
it's
soon
cool.
after the box separately for any of the various places you can have him. Demon Princes are in all sorts of factions, so you can have them in Chaos Demons, you can have them in Chaos Space Marines, you can have them in lots of different armies within
Chris
different
Holman,
settings. If it's Chaos flavoured, you can
Wonder
probably
what the
have a
40K
Chaos
version will
Demon
look like.
Prince somewhere
They
in your army.
previewed it the last
True.
reveal.
Right. And then, as you would come to expect,
the army book or battle tome.
The battle tome is found within it. The first way to get your
Paul Greer Nurgle. Yeah, the Nurgle one's cool.
Yeah, and it's a big one as well. So there's lots and lots of stuff in the Slaves to Darkness. In many ways, they are the kind of premier villains of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. You know, the Cruel Boys and the Nighthaunt and things like that will kind of claim that they're the villains, but we all know that Archaon is the true kind of evil mastermind.
Yeah, Archaon. It's Chaos.
The Age of Sigmar. It also includes things
Chaos
like Be'lakor
is
and his
the villain
followers as well. So you've
fantasy.
got the kind of full
and 40K.
gamut of
because they're just
Slaves
evil,
to Darkness,
right? They're
which
just
basically
evil.
encompasses everything
Evil.
within Chaos
Evil.
that isn't
Kalima.
aligned to one of the various Chaos Gods or a Beastman. So there's a lot of
Kim,
stuff.
hope we can magnetize the heads. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Awesome.
I don't know if you will, though.
Now,
look at
something
this.
to hopefully give people in the chat who are wondering when they might see
Lumineth Realm Lords.
Battle Tome or you know the thing they're excited for on the horizon.
Yeah,
Here
didn't they
is
already get that?
the
Yeah, they already
roadmap
got that.
Sort of seeing us through to early 23 with the Battle Tome roadmap, which you can see next up is Disciples of Zinch, followed by Lumineth Realm Lords, and that's kind of like in the offing, like
That's
upon
kind of news. I mean, we've just seen a battle box released for Lumineth Realm Lords versus Zinch, so probably no prizes. I'm guessing that was going to be the next couple of factions, but this confirms.
David, he only thinks he's the main villain.
And then soon afterwards, along to go with that new Hunter and the new King Brod, the very very cool. Impressive new Mega Gargant. You've got the Ogre Tribes and the Sons of Behemat battle tomes for destruction.
Kim, don't think it's going to be
And
possible
then
to switch between the wings for
the
Age of
Army
Sigmar and the
battle
backpack
box
for
before the end of
40K,
the year,
even with magnets?
you
Yeah,
have
who knows?
Slaves to Darkness.
It's probably going to be some convoluted way of assembling them.
Special edition version of that battle
That you have to
tome,
do it as one or the
followed
other.
shortly after by
That
the
magnetizing
standard
is probably going to
edition.
be too much of a
very
pain.
good.
So an exciting.
I would suspect, just
and a
given
very
the way
exciting,
Games Workshop's been designing their kits lately,
in the
that they
chat,
are not easy to
Hearts.
His
magnetize.
time will come. His time will come.
Just hold firm. You know, one day your dreams will come. Right, Whew, we are running over on time.
I thought we were doing
quite enjoying myself.
World Leaders
so,
preview.
Let us hold firm and maybe cast our minds back to the Age of Darkness.
Oh right, Horus Heresy. I forgot all about Horus Heresy. Jeez Louise.
Horus is the first and favoured son of the Emperor.
Is he though?
He's one of 18 demigods that were created to conquer
Holy
the
shit, are we getting a
galaxy
plastic version of him?
mankind. He embodied all of the best qualities that the Emperor himself had. He was an incredibly charismatic individual. He was a military genius, highly competent.
Is this plastic?
The hosts of mankind would follow him.
Holy
literally
shit,
once
look at
again.
that. Oh my
He was
god.
in charge of all of those armies when the Emperor retreated to Terra to undertake his own great work. The fates rested too heavily on his shoulders. The ruinous powers, the forces of
Are we gonna
chaos
see
looked
all the
upon
other
this
Primarchs in
individual
plastic?
And they said, this is our opportunity, this is the weapon, this is the tool that we can use against the Emperor. And at the planet Davin,
I love the
War
base, look at all the
was
skulls and
injured,
everything.
And he was taken to the Davinite lodges, the temples, in order to be healed by the Davinite lodge priests. And it was during that ritual healing that chaos started to worm its way into his soul. He appeared to be the same, only he'd switched.
How many
sides
times have you guys
to
watched that
express
animation?
rebellion against
I've
the
watched
Emperor.
it like
And
probably
then we get
100
to a
times.
point
It's
3 years
freaking
into the
great.
Heresy, where Horus undergoes a transformation.
I'm not even listening to
and
Andy.
experiences a literal and metaphorical.
He's probably telling me all the
period in
details I need to know,
underworld.
but
When he comes back,
I'm
he's
too busy
ascended.
talking.
He's
Paul
essentially
Greer,
the
teddy
same
bear
model,
Horus?
the
Yeah.
same design,
Horus is
the
a teddy
same
bear.
character.
I
But
dig
every
this model.
Point of him has been rendered in a way that makes it look like he is swollen with the powers of chaos.
Oh, he's swole,
It's
all right.
bigger, it's darker, it's more powerful, it's more.
I like how
evil.
sharp his
There's
claws
the
look, too.
narrative, there's a story that is moving onwards towards its final
Holy
destination, which happens
shit.
at Siege of Terror. Horus Ascended is the ultimate power-up for your army. He takes everything that's great about your army.
Oh
and
my
magnifies
God.
It makes it more spectacular in battle. It makes it braver. It makes it more, frankly, demonic. It powers up everything about your army.
Look how
and
big he
it
is.
The ultimate sense.
Yes.
Horus isn't the only
Sit down, I'm
Primarch
swollen
to
now.
have ascended, and there's definitely scope for other Primarchs to go through a similar process, and maybe there's more models in the future that will do the same thing.
Oh, you guys better. You might as well. I mean, if you're going to give us Horus in plastic, you got to do the rest. I didn't even play Horus Heresy. I have the box, but I haven't done shit with it yet.
A character so important to the underpinnings of the Warhammer 40,000 universe that he has an entire heresy
Man.
named after
It's
him.
got a whole game named after him.
This is Horus Ascended. And what an
Look at that beast.
unbelievably cool model.
Is this plastic or is this resin?
Is one of the coolest models ever released for Warhammer, I think. So this is Horus Ascended. If you have your copies of the Horus Heresy rules, you will have been leafing through, and you might have noticed that Horus has 2 profiles in there. You've got Horus the Warmaster, and you've got Horus Ascended, which basically is Horus swollen with the powers of chaos. So this is him towards the latter half of the Horus Heresy, where the powers of the Chaos Gods are kind of flooding into him, and he has kind of become this embodiment of chaos undivided, effectively. The miniature is just completely awesome, and I think that the coolest thing about it for me is
when did Andy Horus start looking like
all the
old
little
pirate?
subtle touches all the way through it from the original version that have kind of transformed it. So you've got things like the wolf's head has started to kind of decay a little bit. The claw looks a bit more menacing. Lots of the iconography that was previously like interesting filigree is now obviously
he's got
chaos
like the
spikes.
chaos icons on him and everything.
He's pretty unsubtly standing on a big massive pile of corpses, which is a solid nod to being a villain.
We were talking about this just before we came live, and I was like, if you are stood on a 3 feet deep sort of pile of sort of cadavers, broken skeletons and the ruined corpses of what looks like salamanders to me, you are definitely the baddie, and even Horus must.
Even if this is done by Forge World, this is still better than
the latter half of the
other
it's actually
version
quite
of
hard
Horus.
to find that many salamanders.
That's very harsh. I'm sorry, Salamanders players, if you're out there. The shade was just thrown. These shots here, I'll address the question in the chat. This is a Forge World resin series model.
Boo earned.
And the level of detail that the designers have captured is just
it's cool,
incredible.
don't get me wrong.
That face in particular, you can see it in that sort of top right-hand picture, is just truly unbelievable.
Yeah, it's fantastic. This is better than the other version, though.
I'm pretty flippin' excited.
Yeah, I love the little. There's lots of little subtle touches all the way through where you can just see little bits of chaos creeping in. So you've got runes and things marked onto his.
I like Forge World,
were
but
there on the previous incarnation.
I was hoping
he's
this was
covered
plastic.
in skulls. He's got kind of skulls from almost every one of the Loyalist Legion and a few traitors, I think, round his belts just to kind of show what he's made of.
Yeah, Raph and I were playing the who could the heads belong
look
to
at all the
game,
detail.
trying
It's
to work
crazy.
out from like the various Horus Heresy novels.
This is how you look swole with power.
Who's
Yeah, for
killed
sure. Paul Greer. Horus is 500. Yeah, probably.
Horus, who might be a worthy trophy, and that became quite a fun game to play.
I imagine what he might be is the various lieutenants of Horus.
We've just done it wrong.
Oh, no, so possibly, yeah, but also like maybe they bring him like here's the head of this person who was
$500
betrayed,
dues.
or this planetary governor or this praetor who defied you at this particular place, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's pretty damn cool.
He means business.
I'm a little disappointed. It's
the other
resin,
thing really nice
but
about this is the version of Horus that you saw.
the tons of detail,
Horus
and the
Heresy
thing
cinematic.
is
If you go back and watch that,
is Forge World
you'll see
resin.
actually that
I've noticed
the
that
subtle
they've
things
done
about it are a
something
little bit
different to
from the old,
their molding
Horus models that we've
process
seen already.
because their
Or as if
casts
by
have been
magic.
really good.
So you can see
size
the
comparison.
differences. So there's all sorts of subtle things. So like all the Lunar Wolf iconography has gone. So there's no, almost no nods at all to the kind of origin as a Lunar Wolf.
The one on the left is a way better version
the
than
wolf itself draped
the
over
one
his
on the
shoulder.
right.
But even that started to kind of decay. The skull of the wolf has started to kind of creep through. It's much spikier, much scarier, much bigger. Like the character is literally bigger, swollen with the power of chaos.
It's like saying that.
Itself
It's just swollen.
even more menacing and chaotic than it did. The Talon of
it's
Horus
just
looks
swollen.
even meaner. The whole thing is just awesome.
There's an interesting thing that again we were discussing beforehand, which is the sort of Horus Lupercal model on the right. He still looks quite noble. His pictures and everything. You could almost believe that he still thinks he's sort of doing the right thing.
No, you know what it
and
also
then,
is? I like
Horus
better the
Ascended,
one on the left. The proportions.
Chaos is like fully holding.
The
sway
proportions
at
are
this point.
consistent with
I love
current
it.
iteration of what
I
Space
can't
Marines
wait
look
to
like.
see him tromping
The
around
horse on the
battlefields.
right
He
looks
is
like
a lot of the points.
I think he is
the
1,000
proportions
points,
of the older
in
Space
game,
Marines.
which puts him like into
Like
the
longer
region
torso,
of things like
shorter
super
legs.
heavy vehicles and stuff. But I mean, as an ascended Primarch, he can pretty much curb stomp any of the other Primarchs in the game at that point. He is, all the powers of 4 greater demons rolled into a Primarch, mixed in with the best weapons in the galaxy, so he can.
This new Horus Ascended. This is awesome. I'm a
a
little disappointed it's resin, but Forge World resin has been pretty good the last couple of years.
Lionel Johnson.
They've done something to their process where they get far better
rematch might be
casts.
Came out on top,
their,
and I fear
their
deeply. for the rematch. Yeah,
I think that's going to happen. I think we'll have to make it happen.
Not go the way of my boy.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Tremendous. So yeah, we've had an unprecedented sort of slew of amazing releases for sort of.
I thought we were
Warhammer
getting a look at Khorne
over the last few
Berserkers
months since that box game released. It really hardly feels like any time at all has passed, and they've had tanks and dreadnoughts.
Sons of
and all
bitches.
sorts
It just
of
keeps
things.
coming. It just keeps coming. And Andy said in that video as well, like Horus obviously isn't the only Primarch that changes over the course of the Horus Heresy. Both loyalists and
Gremlin?
traitors.
Horus
come out
was
of the
swollen
Heresy
by
very
the power
different
of
than they went into.
Chase,
So,
but my
this may
wallet
not
is
the
about to
last
be
of the
deflated by the
Primarchs that
power
we'll
of
see
his sculpt. Yeah.
moving, changing as it were.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Also, a good day for like Horus Heresy related news in general. The cover and title of
The one on the left is it's just a far better sculpt.
Yeah,
so much more
book,
dynamic,
the end
so
and
much
the death
movement.
which will be multi-part, written by Dan Abnett.
Whereas the other
very,
Horus
very
looks like,
exciting. So
your
if you're a
table
Horus
is this
Heresy
way,
fan,
sir.
Today has been pretty mega, right?
This new one looks like I'm gonna
Right.
fucking stab you with this goddamn
We,
claws.
however, are not done yet.
But there's more.
Let's take one last trip to the Dark Millennium. Here is some Warhammer 40,000.
Here we go. Here we go. Let's do it. I hear chainsaws. Let's go. Yeah. Oh. Oh, look at that. Blood for the blood god. Yeah, I dig these guys. Yeah. Oh, we're just shredding. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Death and glory. Glory.
Blood for the Blood God.
Indeed. So we've seen one of the new Khorne Berserkers before, but this is now the full squad in all their cornate glory, and they're just mega, right? So everything you can want from a unit of Khorne Berserkers. This is the full squad. There are 10 in a box. There's 5. There's 5 we'll show you in a second. And there's a mix of all sorts of different features. Everything that's kind of iconic about Khorne Berserkers. So you've got chain axes, you've got chain swords, you've got some very chaotic looking plasma guns, you've got relics and icons of Khorne.
Helmets with massive crests on the top.
Massive crests. You've got skulls. There's options in the box as well.
Yeah,
so
buddy
you
on the
can
far
make
left looks
them
like a
with,
classic Khorne Berserker.
your kind of cornate helmet with the symbol of Khorne built into it, which is very iconic. But equally, if you're a fan of unhelmeted heads, there's some very, very angry
finally after 20 years an
unhelmeted
update,
heads with the butcher's nails kind of built in, which is obviously an iconic part of who the world is.
Well, look at the guy second from the right. Look at his shoulder pads. They look more like the cataphractic type of Terminator shoulder pad.
Face rebreather thing that a lot of Space Marines have, and they have the angriest looking osmotic gills ever.
They really do. These are really,
Ghost
really
of Starman.
angry
Nice to
looking
see
Space
two-handed
Marines.
chainsword.
So a couple of things to call out in there as well. They've
Bad
got
Lands
some,
86. I can't
some
wait
extra
to get all
weapon
this new
options we haven't
chaos.
seen before. So there's a couple of
This
guys in
stuff
that unit
China
with
cast.
massive two-handed versions of their chain weapons. So the
They might
guy
be waiting
in
a
the
bit.
top right there, very much channeling a flesh terror sort of aesthetic.
Fire Drake. Oh, bloody god.
A little bit flesh terror there. Who knows? Who knows what his origin is? But we'll take his word for it that he's a world eater. But
I think it's just the way he's posed. He's kind of like
in
in a
there.
swing.
You can imagine they
with his
already
sword.
are pretty scary with just a one-handed close combat weapon. You can imagine a two-handed one is probably going to do even more damage and be even more grievous. And again, you see another one in the top left there with a double-handed, enormous chain axe, which is probably going to be bigger than even the one that Khan carries around. Yeah, just absolutely loads of really nice little details. These pictures will be up on the
when you
community site
kind
for
of
guys to
scan
pour
through them
over
really
and find all
fast,
the
like
little,
looking at their
nuances
poses,
and stuff.
they
Pretty flexible kit as well. Lots of the parts are relatively modular.
They all
so
look
you
like they
can
got a pee.
intermix them between each other, and they also mix very
is it just
nicely
me,
with the
or
rest of the
like
Chaos
do they
Space Marine
do they
range,
look
which is
like
pretty cool.
like a little kid
absolutely.
going,
And as
I
you
gotta
saw
go
from
pee?
that Warhammer 40,000 Codex roadmap, they're not a million miles away.
They aren't too far off at all. No, so it won't be too long before you can look forward to facing them. Maybe not look forward, but look forward to collecting a Khorne Berserkers World Eaters force.
Now, that's cool. I'm curious to see what else is going to be in a Khorne army.
So you got 10 models, including
you got to make a codex out of them,
and a couple of alternate weapons with things like plasma pistols and double-handed weapons and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, this isn't everything for World. This is either
Not by any measure.
lots of other stuff on the way, and we have already shown off the Prime Rack as well. So if you wanted to head over to the community site,
P for the P God. Yeah, exactly.
The article we showed off Angron himself.
Doesn't care where the P comes from, just as long as it flows.
We just wanted to.
Marco, imagine combining this kit with the Legionnaires kit. Oh yeah.
Whet your appetite, as it were. Chaos Fractal 27 says not
all the
8
possibilities.
To which I would reply, buy enough boxes, and you could just make 8 from each, and then when you get to like 4 boxes, you'd have another unit. And so, if you did 8, you'd actually have 10 units, but that wouldn't be right. So you'd have to keep going up until you hit a new division of 8. Good luck if that's how you want to guide your armies.
Fucking Adam's math is blowing my mind
You
here.
can always leave 2 in the box.
Yes,
I guess if you really wanted to.
I think it is about 2:15 in the morning here in the UK.
Yeah,
and we have
that's
reached
late. These guys
the
are getting
end
a little
of,
delirious.
the previews.
The previews.
What a heck of a time. I'm going to quickly summarise what we've seen.
Let's do it.
And please remember, if you just joined us
Since
late,
P has stored in the
everything
balls.
fun, you haven't. It's all going to be on warhammercommunity.com. There'll be like articles for you to click in and read. There'll be a chance for you to have a good look at all the pictures and watch the videos again. So
Goes to
you
Starman.
haven't missed
Only one
anything.
complaint here, not seeing any guys
so
with the 2 melee
we have
weapons.
had,
Well, again, they said
an
it's not all of
amazing
it.
set of reveals for the Leagues of Votan, showcasing that new army set that's coming out. Where you'll
So
get
army
your
set
hands
for Leagues
on
of
not just
Votan?
the models for the first time, but the codex. This is everything model-wise that comes inside that box. There's also
2
like
squads,
500
bikes,
little individual transfers.
2
Obviously,
characters?
not like individuals, that'd be completely mad.
Plus the codex?
And a codex to get yourself up to speed in both the lore and the rules with the Leagues of Votan. We also
That's the
previewed
war
a few of
cry.
the things coming out.
Kalima.
Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So you've got the Gore Chosen of Drum, this amazing
Kalima.
Cornate warband. We also had a new model for the Ogre Mortar.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
Blood Pelt Hunter.
So
And
an
the
ogre who's so
biggest,
confident that he
literally,
doesn't even need to see
character
what he's shooting
in
at.
the Mortal Realms, the King Brod of the Sons of Behemat. We slunk to the side and we looked at the Slaves of Darkness.
These
this
guys
new
look cool,
army
man.
box. Little shout out, by the way. Have a look at the writing on that picture when you get a chance, and you go onto warhammercommunity.com. Oh, Raf's gone back, isn't he nice? That is like some crazy chaos alphabet going on right there.
That's
and
true.
I love it. Anyway, so this would be the first place.
Yeah, I
to,
thought my
get your hands on
dyslexia
all
was
these kits.
kicking in there when I saw that. I was like, fuck,
And
I
the
can't
battle
read
tome.
that.
Yes, and the battle tome, yeah, absolutely. So, and then we went from here into the Age of
Horus
Darkness
is
with a
fantastic.
new
I mean,
Horus Ascended
I'm a
miniature,
little bit
absolute
disappointed that it's a
showstopper of
resin
model.
kit, but
And then we finished
Forge
out
Roll
with a
resin has
little
been
bit
pretty good the
of
last
Blood for the Blood God,
probably 10
with
years.
the new Khorne Berserkers. That is, quite frankly,
And Khorne
one heck of a
Berserkers, there
preview.
they are.
If you are one of the people in the chat going, "Oh no, guard, my heart is broken," just think
Oh,
how
yeah,
long the
no
Khorne
guard.
Berserker fans have been waiting for these models. Since those Khorne Berserkers came out, Guard have had no less than, I reckon, 15 plastic kits.
Something like that.
Well, more. Oh, I'm tempted to do the maths, but I won't. I won't torture you with it. So, all in good time. You just had some Krieg.
It'll be worth the wait.
Be
It'll
patient.
Be worth the wait.
You know,
Yeah, that's right.
Guard
We
are
had
known
a
for
little
holding
bit of
the
preview
line, and
there.
That's all you
not
need to
too
do.
long ago.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us for this awesome and most enjoyable Warhammer preview online. And we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope everybody.
I enjoyed it.
Nova
This was
enjoyed their
not
one that
bad. This
Finished probably a little while ago.
Yeah, and
was
good
worth,
luck in your games if you're watching
you know.
from Nova. You've got 4 days of fun.
Just evening
games
for
ahead
me.
of you.
It's
Yes,
not
yeah,
quite
because
brownie
actually
time
the
yet.
preview happens before, like.
It does. It's the first.
all
It
gets
kicks off the event. It kicks off the event.
amazing. If you have chosen to spend,
I
some
probably
of your
would have
time,
preferred to be
with us,
watching this
there's
from
more than
Nova
14,000
Open,
of you currently in the chat right now. Thank you so much. Hope you either have a good rest of the night's sleep or a lovely day, whichever it is that is facing you.
If you are in the UK and you've stayed up, you deserve the nap.
Yeah, everybody in the
I
UK,
can't authorize you
give
having
yourselves a
work or
pat in the
anything
back.
bad.
You guys
Get a good
made
sleep
it.
and,
You made it.
Enjoy the day tomorrow. That's it from us. Thank you, Raf, for pressing all the buttons in the right order and making all this technology work. For not
Pressing
the
the buttons.
leader of the Moderati pressing buttons and making sure the chat worked. For you people in the chat being so nice and civilised.
How reductionist
all
that
the answers.
Thank you, Adam.
All the people
devolves
in the miniature
job
studios
into
and
pushing
the
buttons.
Games team
Thank you for
everywhere
pushing
who've made all
buttons.
these things for me to talk about. We will see you again very soon. Good night.
Night, boys. Well, there we go. That was the preview. A lot of fun. Actually, I'm just going to mute that. Yeah, there we go. We'll mute that. So, that was a lot of fun. I'll turn the chat on just for a little bit. What are we doing here? What do we got going on? Kim, no war cry and no kill team? No, because we just had kill team. well, we've got Kill Team coming, so like there's a whole new thing for Kill Team, and we've already got a roadmap for Kill Team, right? They put up that article there a couple days ago about what's coming for Kill Team, and for Warcry. Well, we just had a release for Warcry, so we got to go back to some of the other games. I mean, there's so many games now, right, that have dedicated kind of blocks of time. It seems like that we get Warhammer 40K, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, Underworlds, Kill Team, Aeronautica, Horus Heresy, right? We got a whole bunch of games nowadays that the company can pretty much just kind of we got a model coming out, generate buzz, sell it, stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting times we live in, because like when I was younger and I was really, 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 really all about this hobby back in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, a new codex, that was once a year. Now it's like, what? How many codex has been released just for 40K this year? 4 or 5 already? Like, maybe not that many. By the year's end, it'll be probably 4 or 5. But, yeah. Ghost of Starman. Well, that was a great reveal. Not perfect. Looking at you, Resin Horus. But one of the best this year. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed that Horus is not plastic. I was going to get super excited because, I mean, I saw all the detail, right? I saw all the detail and all those hard edges and everything like that. Because usually that, like Forge World, sometimes the sculpts just aren't that smooth looking, right? Whereas styrene plastic can get some really smooth surfaces. And like just the way it looked, it just had some really crisp details. I thought that was styrene plastic. And I got excited because I was thinking, well, shit, if they're going to do Horus, then they're going to, maybe they're going to give us all the Primarchs in styrene plastic, which would be awesome. But it still would be awesome if there was a redo of the characters, right? Because the way a lot of the heroes look for the Primarchs for Horus Heresy as it currently is they're kind of early war. And if Horus Ascendant is like late war, then maybe they will do more of the Primarchs late war. Although Sanguinus, late war would be just a dead. He'd just be laying on the floor, right? So that's a joke. Fire Drake, I need to make 6 figures so I can support 40K. Yeah, exactly, right? Kim, then you might afford all the releases, but most likely not. No. KC, one day GW will let Resin go. Hopefully. I mean, even in the late 90s, rumors were that Games Workshop wanted to move away from other materials, because back in the day it was pewter, it was resin, and there was plastics. They had all 3 materials on the go back in the day. Now, somewhere in the early 2000s, they phased out the pewter, and then they brought in the fine cast, which everybody hated, because that's what replaced pewter. But the rumors were back in the day that they wanted to go to the entire product line as being styrene plastic. Now, pretty much everything in Citadel's lineup, other than a few odds and ends here and there that are still kind of fine cast, pretty much styrene plastic. Forge World is technically separate from the rest of the Games Workshop stuff, right? So, I mean, I'm sure we're splitting hairs there, but yeah. Sophie, judging from how Kris is found, you'll need a kinky OnlyFans channel to afford 40K now. Richard reminds me, Sophie. Yeah. Apparently, I shared it on the Discord earlier. Apparently, people who find my channel by searching sex doll, and they find my streams. I don't know how the hell that happens, but whatever. By searching sex doll. I was like, what? So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the reveals. I'm sure many of you thought that was a little bit of fun. But yeah, I shouldn't have to white myself for tabletop gaming. White yourself? To white yourself? I don't know what that means. To white yourself? Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I thought it was exciting. Interesting. It was great to see lots of the stuff for the Votan. The Gore chosen for Underworlds? Kali Ma. That was a fantastic looking model. Horus. Giants. Khorne. Slaves of Darkness. That was quite a bit. There. I think the Leagues of Votan section probably took up a lot of the time, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 you know, all that other algorithm stuff. And a huge thank you to everybody for tuning in. Any final words from the peanut gallery? Fire Drake, shouldn't have to whore myself for tabletop gaming. You shouldn't have to, but you can. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with whoring yourself out. I mean, you know, especially if you're a whore. Kim, it's only 3 days till Saturday. You still got the stash? Yeah, I still have the stash. I was planning on shaving it today, but I didn't get around to it because I was busy with other stuff. There's a project on my desk right now that I've been working away at. I'm a little bit behind schedule on it. And so, oi, geez, Louise. Thank you, Casey, for subscribing. Thank you. Good, Casey. Good. Oh, it's gone. And so, yeah, big thanks to everybody tuning in, joining in. There was quite a few of you. And, yeah, you know, whenever Games Workshop does these kind of reveals, I do a live stream, and I usually don't shut up during these things because I'm usually making dumb jokes or whatever. So if you're in the mood for something light, chill, and kind of entertaining, I know it loosely passes as entertaining, but anyway. Fire Drake, maybe start a furries only page. Furries only? Yeah. Ghost of Starman, trade agreement. You receive foot pics, I receive plastic crack. There we go. Fire Drake, never got Kris for life advice. Yeah, there we go. Kim, you guys have a great one. I'm off to bed. It's 3:23 here. Oh yeah, it's fucking late for you guys. Yeah, you guys gotta go to bed. Go to bed. In fact, everybody else, you in Australia, you guys have a glorious day. Everybody in North America, let's enjoy the rest of our evening. I'm going to go have a brownie and chill the fuck out. And everybody in the UK, go back to bed. Go back to bed, everybody. Just go back to bed. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Here, okay. Thanks for a great stream. Much more enjoyable watching these previews with the Monkey Peanut Gallery. Yeah. Awesome. I'll see you guys later. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Or day, night, morning, whatever. Fuck. Brownie time. Gonna get my high on. Sophie, definitely bedtime. Night all. Night, Sophie. Get some sleep, girl. Good God. Get some sleep. Get the beauty rest. Get the beauty rest, as they say. They say it somewhere, right? Somebody says it. I think. Maybe. Possibly.